Fraud and Order. On this episode of Fraud and Order, we talk about a North Carolina taxpayer who, for a period of 35 years, managed to not file his taxes or pay any tax in most of the time. Check out the story. It is linked in the comments. Apparently, this is what I gleaned from the story, he filed up to 5 years out of 35 years. I'm reading between the lines. Maybe there's some goodies or tax benefits that caused him to actually file his taxes. If he hadn't filed those years, this guy had a 35-year streak of not filing his taxes. So when this guy was caught, he had gone a run of $1.8 million in income, which sounds pretty exciting, but if you divide 1.8 million by the number of years he did not file, 30 years, that works out to be only $60,000 a year on average. So the guy, in some respects, sounds like a regular average guy, just didn't file his taxes. Now, if you did that, you would probably have taxes withheld, that is tax paid to the government, and therefore the government would just keep your money. In his case, he did something a little bit even more sneakier. He filed the W-4 employee paperwork with his employer or employers every year and told them basically that he was exempt from taxation. So his employer never withheld any tax and he never filed. Another thing you might wonder is, how did he go so long without getting caught? I really don't have the micro details to tell you in this case, but I can only imagine maybe the guy was moving like every year or two or three and IRS just couldn't catch up with him. It really makes you wonder. The guy was sentenced to 3 years in prison, followed up by 2 years of an ankle bracelet. You can think what you want, but the government will catch up with you, and we do all need to file our taxes and pay our fair share. When we talk about a voluntary tax system, it is voluntary in the respect that we all have to report all our income, but what's voluntary is what method you use to file and what deductions that you take. There are taxpayers, as crazy as it sounds, that they never take any deductions. So if you don't take any deductions, think about that. You would pay the maximum tax possible. One last crazy thing about this story, if you read the case, they found him guilty. And when it came to his sentencing hearing, he failed to appear. They are definitely gunning for you. It's just not worth messing with. Because at the end of the day, when you calculate the percentage of tax we're talking about, the guy saved like 20%. Let me know your thoughts on this. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a bunch.